Withdrawal.
Just so you know, we are now live on YouTube. I'm going to get that started. So careful. No, I'm kidding. Just letting our folks on YouTube know, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being here, and we trust you're all doing well. And thank you. I was saying, Gavin, before you jumped on, I started this and there was like instantly 100 people already in here waiting, so that was really cool. And appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. That was very kind of you. A lot of you said that publicly. I got some private messages as well. Very, very kind. Much appreciated. We have very, very friendly community, and there's no one I would rather be spending my birthday with than you guys. Of course, a little selfishly, that's why I want to keep it kind of short and sweet if we can, but I don't know, we got the three other power players up here. I'm not sure we can do that. How is everybody doing?
Wonderful.
Doing good, bro. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. And just to be a little more specific, like I said, we will try to keep this a little short. Might take some live questions. I know some of you have your hands up already. If we can, we'll try to do that. We don't do that very often. Originally, we were going to bring Mark Johnson on to the call to discuss some updates with the IPO. Just scheduling is very hard to schedule with the time differences and whatnot. So we'll probably do something separate for that. I'll probably do pre-recorded just because his schedule is a little challenging. So expect that probably in the coming days, and expect some more AMAs, during the migration, during all the craziness, designing Genesis and moving to a new system and doing everything that's been going on. We haven't had a lot of AMAs, not really been a whole lot to talk about other than, hey guys, this is what we're doing, and that's pretty much it. So expect that to change, expect a little more AMAs, pre-recorded and live moving forward. And from what I understand, Gavin had a baby recently. How is parent life treating you, Mr. Gavin?
I don't sleep, but
Told you.
It's it's hard to explain. For those of you that have children, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you that don't, when people say you won't be able to sleep, you presume it's because the crying or whatever. That's not the case. Newborns have a very specific 2 to 3 hour feeding schedule, which means that you have to sleep in 1.5 to 1 45-minute cells. And so I think, I have to apologize to the team. I've probably been a little bit irritable, but I think I've been nicer to the community since I've had the baby, but I'm here to my coworkers, so I apologize. But it's such a blessing. Oh my gosh, you're exhausted, and then as soon as you take care of this little creature, it looks up at you with these beautiful blue eyes, and you're just like, oh, okay. And instead of going back to sleep, I spend the next 2 hours just holding her. Then I'm like, oh, should have slept. So if that can encapsulate an entire experience, that's what I would present. It's the most rewarding, difficult thing I've ever done, slightly outstripping Zeta itself.
Yeah, and you've been the war, so that probably says a whole lot. Yeah, it's interesting. I was told when my baby was born, hey, it goes by really, really quick. What are you talking about? Well, I wish I would have listened because it actually does go by really, really quick. And seeing your your beautiful baby, I almost forgot what a newborn sounded like already. Mine's going to be a year old soon already. It's hard to believe, but yeah, I think you're you're going through the thing, and anybody who's had kids knows exactly what you're going through, and trying to run Zeta on top of it, which is no easy feat in of itself.
Well, and so everyone knows, thank you to the gentlemen that are up here. You've all helped take a lot off my plate. I actually feel like I've been an absentee partner. Brent, Matt, Johnny, appreciate you guys. And also for setting the example. I mean, fortunately, each one of you has babies. So, thank you. Just trying to be as good of a dad as, you guys are.
Well,
Too kind, yep.
Plus or minus 25%.
There you go.
A little bit of a buffer in it. Thank you. I think you will, and you learn things as you go on. It's just like business. It's actually just like life. Parenthood is not a whole lot different. You make mistakes and you correct those mistakes, and you're better for it. And so is the baby. So, well done there.
Speaking of babies, let's talk about our baby here.
Yeah. So Genesis officially relaunched, or launched, I should say. As you guys know, anybody who's been here since the beginning, some of you who are newer, might not even know what Zeta Blue was. Probably do to some degree, but you have blue and then you have black, and now we have Genesis, and black was really just sort of that little pit stop in between that really we call it a pre-sale for Genesis. Essentially, it was in testing for a long time. It was never officially, hey, here's black and here's how you do it. There were some people who, especially in Prime, the Zeta Blue Prime, who have been in black since its launch in February, March or so, that I did have some content for them, but we never like really publicly put it out there because it was always being tested, especially on the old Morales system that we are, thank God, no longer on. And I'm sure Darth Vader is breathing a little bit better, but you never know because of the sound that he makes with his scuba mask on. Nonetheless, then we migrated to Genesis, and as you know, Genesis, maybe you don't know actually, Genesis went through a couple of different iterations. Originally, me and Gavin had this flow chart of Genesis keeping zones and keeping the token and keeping, pools,
it was
lakes.
Beautiful.
You know what? If somebody else were to take that and run with it, they'd probably do really well. I'm convinced. But they have to actually be able to make money. That's probably the missing component in most cases of crypto. But nonetheless, then we kind of sat back and said, a lot of people enjoy black. They enjoy the stablecoin aspect of it. They enjoy the easy in, easy out, no timing, all this stuff. Anybody who is in blue who missed lakes and missed pools, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's always that timing element, and it was never something that really allowed everybody on a mass scale to actually get in. So then we sat back and said, you know what, it's going to cost some money for sure, but why don't we just move people over to black? It's better for the user. It's better for, obviously, the company as a whole. And that's what we did. It was a heck of a lot simpler than what we had originally designed with the zones and all that type of stuff. But it's one of those things where it's sort of, I don't want to say ripping the Band-Aid off, but it's better to do it now and move people over to a better system and more predictable and more specific and just easier to understand. I mean, if anybody ever tried to explain blue to anybody they knew, they're like, yeah, you got this thing and zones and, you have to move up tiers and there's lakes. What's a lake and how do you do OTC and where's the token and accidentally buy off MetaMask or whatever, right? So there's all these nuances. Yeah, that's bringing back some memories, is it not?
Oh my God.
So
that's no lie. You talk about a tech disaster. That was always fun. Every other day there was a new surprise what some user would come up with. It was awesome. But yeah, it's nice to have a stablecoin project.
Yes.
Very nice.
It's kind of interesting because Blue actually became a stablecoin project, and with the fixed OTC, that's why we said, we don't need two stablecoin projects. This is not necessary. Especially since Blue was never designed to be that way. We were just trying to do that for the masses. But nonetheless, that's what Genesis became. Genesis basically became, I almost want to say black reloaded, but not quite that. It's a new product, but it's really not a new product. It's more of the public launch of what was already pre-existing with some modifications to tier structures and whatnot. So when we launched Genesis, obviously there was a lot of things going on. There's the movement of people from blue to black, which requires real money on the back end, right? So there's this movement of, okay, who's going to choose which option and how much money is going to be required and all this type of stuff. Then the technical move. And the technical move is not something that I'm going to speak on, but CMO can jump in if he wants, but nonetheless, technical, complicated, and a million different moving parts because it's not just moving from one product to another, it's actually moving to an entire new system. From one old system, flat structure, dilapidated legacy, to a brand new, freshly built, secure, high-end, efficient system. So there's that and moving to a new product simultaneously. So it's a heck of a move, along with the monies on the back end and all of that stuff. And then here we are with Genesis, and
yeah, you covered it right there.
Yeah,
from dilapidated to so pretty great new infrastructure. Yeah, but and on top of that list, don't forget the migration, right? So to migrate to black, and then from black, then move it all to Genesis. because black was still the old structure, right? So the black to Genesis move was the infrastructure leap. So yeah, it's been fun, but yeah, you nailed it right there. That's it.
Yeah, and I think we do have some stuff coming to Genesis, but you're not going to see as many modifications as you saw previously with Blue. I don't want to say every other week, but we were definitely looking to see, okay, how can we add things onto this, right? We built this system that's very elegant. That does a whole lot that I don't know has been done before. If it has, let me know. I'll go look. But I don't believe it's been done before. But then we wanted to add other pieces. So it was always, we added pieces like friend zones, like lakes, like OTC, like all these other, ideas that never actually came to fruition with NFTs and things of that nature. So you will see some changes coming to Genesis, but not to the degree that you saw with Blue. Gavin, I feel like you want to jump in for a second.
I hate the C word. Feature sets. We will see new feature sets, such as the Zeta passes. When we have the official Zeta NFT, you'll see, areas in the D app. We talk about the IPO. We talk about we haven't talked about it yet, but we talk about on-ramping and off-ramping. These are all feature sets that are going to be built into our D app. So just so everyone knows, when we say changes, don't lose your stuff and start freaking out. We plan on adding new things for you to do, not so much changing your experience, but enhancing it.
Thank you. See,
Don't be
this
scared.
is
Get
why Gavin is going to be your new chief communications officer and not me moving. I'm kidding.
But I'm going to speak like gibberish, like Billy Madison.
Hey, I had to jump off. What'd I miss? Did I miss anything?
Gavin,
I
announced
that. I just told everybody the new deadline for the Zeta passes. I'm teasing. I'm kidding. No, I didn't.
Get the work, CMO. Get out of
here. New deadline. Tomorrow? Okay.
Surprise.
Yeah,
just so everyone knows, internally, sometimes we have these great ideas, and we underestimate, the folks that actually have to make them. And so we'll say things. I say, wait, it's me. It's me. Let's just do this. And I told everyone about it.
You're very, you overestimate the capabilities of humans. I think that's probably one of the ways to put it. Right? Can we do this like next week? Wait a minute.
It's only a button. It's got to just be a button you put on there.
Just a button. Hit the resize link. Yeah, with it.
I used to change Winamp skins all the time. What's the difference?
Yeah, it's fun.
But yeah, so no, I did not. But I told you that we're gonna have. But I just let everyone know that we're gonna have a few feature sets that are going to be added to the D app. So the D app has room in it. We could talk about some of the adjustments we've made, but when we talk about changes, we don't really want to change anything for folks, but we want them to be able to do more. So there'll be more buttons, more modals, etc. coming this week. Yep. I'm kidding. So that's it.
By Tuesday, it is Tuesday. Never mind.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Wait already.
Well,
but that's accurate. Yes, there is cool stuff on the deck. Yes. Sorry. Go ahead.
Very, very. And some of it will come sooner than others. Yes. Thank you. Not changes, improvements. How about that? I'll one-up you. No, I'm kidding. So, speaking of, communicating, you probably have noticed that the YouTube channel has been fairly sparse, and there's obviously a reason. Like I said, kind of the same reason you haven't seen a whole lot of AMAs, mainly because when you're doing a migration, a lot of that stuff can be communicated over text, right? I had no problem doing AMAs, but it's just, there's not a whole lot to talk about during that time. So consequently, same with the YouTube, there's just not really anything to educate people on when there is a migration taking place. And also had some people say, well, what about videos for Black? And I was waiting for Genesis to officially launch, mainly because I didn't want to record videos for Black and then, 2 weeks later, it's already out of date. So now that Genesis is launched, you can expect the YouTube channel to kind of be, I don't want to say relaunched, but definitely revitalized. You'll see a lot more content, kind of what you folks know me for. Be some introductory videos, some tutorials, different things like that. Maybe things you didn't know about Genesis, and you should expect those in the next week to start rolling out. on a more regular basis as well. And speaking of that, there is just going to be a slight tweak to the withdrawal schedule. So as you know, the withdrawals is every other Thursday, right? And I'm sure CMO can kind of jump in and share a little bit more on the technical side of this, but it's going to be moved to every other Saturday instead, mainly because when the market closes, that's really the best time to allow people to get their pools updated and then withdraw. Otherwise, what ends up happening, this was sort of discussed after the fact, is that if folks are withdrawing Thursday, you still have another day of trading in that week, Friday, the next day. So you can never actually withdraw all of your profit for that week, if that makes sense. So we thought, that on top of the convenience, and there's a lot of people that still work jobs and whatnot, of Saturday was just a little bit more efficient. So I know the D-app will reflect that as well in the countdown, and I'll go ahead and post an update schedule on that as well. And
Yep, nailed it.
Yep, nothing to add there. All right, moving right along. Some of you guys have noticed the merchandise store. Ironically, about an hour ago, I got like 3 shirts in the mail. I guess they knew it was my birthday, right? But now I'm wearing a nice black XETA Capital shirt. And that is something that I've noticed that a lot of people are posting pictures of. The new shirts, hats, mugs. Go ahead and check that store out if you haven't. You can see the link in the Discord. That link will probably be tweaked a little bit to kind of reflect the branding structure of that. And speaking of the branding structure, some of you probably noticed that the Discord name has a new name, has a new logo, and so does the Twitter. So as you know, when we relaunched, and actually it's interesting because I had mentioned this, early to late last year, somewhere in that time frame, whenever we launched, I should say, that the goal always was to restructure the company outside of the United States, number one. But number two, because we are going through IPO process, it's just requiring a company structure. So XETA Capital is now known as XETA. And we have the new brand to match that, along with Genesis, which is, it's sort of the beginning, right? Because quite frankly, a lot of you were here for Blue. A lot of you were not. It was the end of a really bad season in DeFi, in crypto in general. And as I said earlier, because Black was sort of a testing product, some of you knew about it, some of you didn't. A lot of people are here and are saying, well, I missed Blue and I missed Black, so Genesis. And that's why it's like the genesis of what we're doing moving forward. And based on that, we're now known as XETA, and we are structured in Belize. And Gavin, you have anything you want to add to that?
No.
Easy. Look at him. Look at him. Easy. Easy guy.
No, you said it all, brother. It's easy. It's a new beginning in crypto. Read the tagline.
New beginning in DeFi. So anyway, so yeah, as you guys know, I could speak a whole lot more on it. You all know, the issues going on in America with crypto, and they're driving technology out. So there's not a whole lot more to be said on that.
Yeah, it's just healthier for the company. Get out of that kind of obstruction. We can actually do what we're designed to do. So makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. So cool new logo, by the way. CMO, love it. Hopefully everyone's loved it. Everyone else noticed it. They're like, oh, cool new logo.
Cool. That was Mr. Jeff Kern. He is the creator of such a thing and did a beautiful job. I'll make sure if he's not in here, I'll make sure to pass that along.
Yes.
And if anybody's wondering the inspiration for the logo, I just told Jeff, I said, look, man, we just need a logo that dunks on everyone. If you know, you know.
There's actually something behind that. Anyone who gets that, post it in the XETA chat channel. If you get that, that's so funny. And also, We're getting caught up, as I had mentioned, with withdrawals. We have $1 million being drawn down. Half it's already been drawn down. The other half is being drawn down. There'll probably be some more drawn down on top of that. And you, as I mentioned earlier, you also should see the Uncharted airdrop going out tonight as well. On top of that.
Right, Showtime, if you don't mind, I wanted to address that a little bit because
Sure.
I've mentioned it in different chats, and now that we have more, I apologize, especially with the baby. I'm not sleeping as much, so I can't remember if I said it in just Prime or just Black or Zeta Chat or whatever. But about the $1 million drawdown, about the few late withdrawals we have, based on what people say, you'd think that nobody would get their freaking money. We've done over $40 million in airdrops. And we've come in the last million. So I want to talk about what the mistake was. So as most of you should be aware, when we first started Zeta, the original product, we used a database system that was developed by Coinbase called Moralis. It's sort of like a CRM. We used that in order to be able to get off the ground quicker and use it to do most of our back-end database coordination. It was just a simple out-of-the-box product that let us get up and going quicker. Well, that product at the beginning of this year, I think around March timeframe, they suddenly sent out an email saying, hey, we're no longer going to support it. You can keep using it if you want, but we're not going to do any patches or anything. Then we started getting reports of people saying they're not getting their withdrawals. Well, it was strange because we have a system where people put in their withdrawals in the D app. It goes to the back-end trading system, and the traders are able to take 28 days to withdraw your position. We've had people ask, well, why does it take 28 days? So because of the way that we're leveraged, the way that we do our hedging, the way that we do our trading strategy, you don't know what the trades are doing. So like a regular trader would just look to see when they're up, they pull the profit and take the margin. Well, since you don't know where your positions are, when a user elects to withdraw the position that they're entitled to, we then have to pick a good time in order to draw that position down in relation to the rest of the fund. So we give ourselves basically a full Zeta cycle in order to make that happen. Well, if somebody goes 28 days and they don't get the withdrawal, they say, hey, I didn't get my withdrawal yet. We go and check and say, we never got a request. So the traders, we go to the trading side and say, hey, guys, how come you're not withdrawing this money? They say, what money? We withdraw everything that we get sent. So what we discovered was that Moralis was not flagging these requests and forwarding them on. So what happens is when people then get that request, we then have to go to the traders and say, hey, just pull the money out right now. Well, that could have us at a loss or it could affect the hedging strategy. So usually what happens is they say, no, we need another 28 days in order to withdraw it. So now you've got a person that's behind 56 days. Well, that's if somebody submits the ticket exactly at 28 days. What was happening is some people weren't submitting the ticket until 45 days had gone by and they hadn't gotten their withdrawal. So that's the reason for the perceived delays. I think there's like 35 late withdrawals out of 1,300 members and some 10,000 requests, right? So it's a very small amount, but that's the reason for the late withdrawals is because when you submit a request for a withdrawal, even if it's late, we then manually send it to the trading partner. So we said, hey, guys, we need you to withdraw this money. And then they have to begin the process there. So that's the reason why even when you put in your ticket, we can't just say, hey, pull this money out. You know, we are still subjected to the markets. And the one thing I won't do is I'm not going to take a loss on the money. Because even though each individual member has a position, it's all part of the greater Zeta Capital Fund. And the entire fund itself is part of the community. And we have to make sure that we're always in the green, right? So this $1 million, what that was after the migration, and again, without going into a long spiel about it, during the migration, when we moved brokerages, we were only moving half the money at a time. So we did it in 2 tranches. That was for safety reasons. But also that means that we were only trading half the money for half the time. So once we got those requests for people saying, hey, look, I didn't get my withdrawals, we then had to go into our trade partners and say, hey, look, now you need to withdraw this money. And the gold markets haven't been great. It's part of the reason why Showtime went out of his way to explain NFP data and margin. So that's the reason why we now have the $1 million withdrawn and ready to go out to shore up the last Zeta Blue withdrawals, which was from 2 months ago. I hope that answers the question for others, a perceived delay, because some of you have gotten 6-figure airdrops and you got them directly on time. That's because Moralis funded your request. We were able to put it through the general system. So if anyone has any questions about that, feel free to ask them, but hope that answered everything. Now that we have our own backend, we're no longer using Moralis for our database calls. We should not have that issue. But I've seen a lot of questions about people saying, well, if it takes... Yeah, so people saying, well, if you're only pulling $1 million out, how are you going to do the $9.3 million in 28 days? 2 completely different issues. So just want to make sure that that's stated. I don't know which groups I've said that in, but now everyone should know. No one should be able to feign ignorance.
Well, thank you.
But who knows? I mean, we're just a giant crypto scam where everyone just makes 4x their money and complains about it on YouTube.
Yeah, I want to be part of that scam. The one where to reverse scam, right? I'm going to use that word. Thank you for the explanation. Much appreciated and much needed. So that's
that was a good synopsis for sure. Let me add one little piece of that too. So Morales would also not validate blockchain confirmations, right? So then it would, and the only way we could find it, go back and search for it, is actually find it on the blockchain, the request. So yeah, it was a mess. And Morales, hey, did a good job, but just couldn't handle the request level that we needed. And of course, they wouldn't support it any further, even, So it was kind of a thing. But now that we're out of there, all new infrastructure, you guys will see. Users will see much faster interface as far as transactions and things like that. It'll go a lot quicker. And of course, then time will tell as we do requests and things like that exactly how it operates. But right now, it's like 1/100th of the speed that it was prior. So very nice and solid, and all controlled by us. So we don't have any third party reliance, which is fantastic. So yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Definitely. Well, thank you guys for the explanation. Appreciate it and needed. So yeah, we'll obviously be having some more withdrawals going out after that. That should clear up most of them. But once those actually have gone out, I want to host a little bit of a giveaway. Right? We did a giveaway prior to the migration, which congratulations to those winners, by the way. Your accounts should be added hopefully this week. Try to get on that this week if we can. But we're going to do another one. Once these withdrawals have gone out, and I'll make a little bit more of a concise announcement on this. Is a little bit more vague and broad, just to kind of let you know. But once those withdrawals have begun to go out, if you'd like to post a screenshot of your withdrawal, whatever that looks like, I'll kind of leave the creativity up to you guys on Twitter and in our Discord. We'll be giving away free $250 Genesis accounts. We'll be having 6 winners, and I'll announce that this week as soon as those have begun rolling out into users' wallets. And you guys can kind of be creative with how you'd like to share, hey, I received my withdrawal or whatnot. So be on the lookout for that next couple of days, give or take. Once those begin rolling out, I'll make an announcement on the details of that. And by the way, if anybody wants to ask a question live, we're beginning to get to the end here. Put your hand up, and if we can, we'll bring you up. I do have some questions in the AMA questions channel as well. So if we don't have any live users, we're going to take some pre-written questions. So there is a question by Hendo, and it is a good question. It's kind of funny. Me and Gavin were just discussing this last night, and he's asking if it's being considered at all whether accounts could be renewed by paying a fee. So in other words, not expiring, not requiring new committed principal. It's been discussed, and no definitive answer on it, but it is something that we're discussing. We're looking at, for example, as you know, the accounts act similar to a zone in that they have an upfront sunk cost and they require an ongoing fee, and then they do expire in 1 year. So you got 2x your money, give or take, without renewing them. So we're looking at some creative ways to maybe allow those to go on forever, maybe to be renewed for a certain degree of time, maybe something in between. There's a lot of different options there. I know some users have said, it's a little bit difficult and challenging to plan how much to take, how much not to take, and how to kind of re-up those. So, Gavin, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. Sorry. It's just, so the first thing is that as it stands, there is a way to renew your accounts. So if you have $1,000 Genesis account, after 12 months, if you have a $1,000 account, you pay another $1,000, you get another year membership. If you have a $500 account, pay another $500, you get another year membership. So it currently does exist. The second part is for people saying that it's really hard to plan. I don't know how they exist in the 21st century where you have a paycheck and then you have bills. It's not rocket science.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Just to be candid,
right.
And part of this was, the issues with Zeta Blue when we first created the first system is we had a very elegant system that was like a clock. And then people kept saying, oh, well, this is too hard. This is too hard. And keep in mind, these are people that are making more money than they've ever seen in their lives. And so we just kept capitulating, making it easier and easier and easier. Well, after a while, when you manipulate the system enough, you unbalance it, and it becomes a pain in the butt. This should not be a pain. So the system is what it is. You put the money in, you withdraw the money, you get the money, and you pay a little bit as a fee. What it is for right now.
Yeah. And I'm also going to add to that, and, don't take what I'm about to say as condescending at all, but, when people have issues re-upping, I ask myself whether somebody has gone in too deep, right? Are they swimming in the shallow end, or are they swimming in the deep end? I don't recommend anybody, I don't recommend anything, nonetheless. I'm saying, don't put money that you need to pay your rent into Genesis accounts. Please don't do that. Please don't go and put your last $10,000, your life savings, into a pool, right? So don't overextend yourself. Don't go and dive into the deep end. Be wise, exercise some, wisdom and how much you put in, and, make sure you can pay your fees just in case. Maybe you forgot to withdraw. If it's every other weekend, you might have a family emergency and you forgot to withdraw. Now you're having trouble paying the fees. So things like this, always set some aside, just exercise some good sound practices when it comes to these types of things. And I just want to point that out. Whenever people have issues re-upping, I always wonder if there's maybe something more to that. So I just thought I would mention.
Never put it all at risk.
No, never do that in anything in life.
Nothing.
Moving on. Let's see. Don't see any live speakers. Okay.
Well, speaking of paying fees, did we want to announce the Genesis changes to people that don't pay their fees?
Yeah, go ahead, Gavin.
It might be better coming from you.
I think you have such an elegant way of putting things, and you corrected my speech already, that I wouldn't want to misspeak.
See, I told you, it's
it comes back to haunt you later, doesn't it?
I'm being terrible. Okay, everyone. So here's the deal. We gave everyone a pass this month, right? Nobody had to pay their membership fees if you were migrated, right? And because of the time delay between when withdrawals were available and when they're going to hit, this will not affect this Zeta cycle. For those that aren't aware, every 28-day cycle is now referred to as a Zeta cycle. So that's how we're operating. We have 13 Zeta cycles in a calendar year. So whether that's a solar calendar or a Julian calendar, it is what it is. Well, the thing is, we found out that some folks are manipulating the system. And for those of you who have been with us for the last 16 months, that never works out. Stop it. Don't make me do this. So here's what we're going to do. The first day that your fees are due, your returns will stop. So you'll no longer continue to accrue if your accounts are in a back, or pools are in a back.
That's due.
I'm so tired. If they're past due, as soon as that red button pops up saying you're past due, your account will no longer continue to accrue. 28 days after that, they'll disappear. So we're not going to have our database filled with a bunch of ghost accounts, right? Furthermore, if your account, these are Genesis accounts, if your accounts go past due, the moment that they go past due, you'll have to pay a $10 late fee on top of your regular member fee per account.
24-hour grace period.
Yeah, if you want to be nice.
And when
So
are
you
you
have 1 day
expecting
of
this to kick
past
in,
due warning.
Gavin?
So this will take effect after this last airdrop. So this cycle, people will be exempt. So come November, if your account is past the beginning of November, if your account is past due, it'll still continue to accrue, because the intent of the migration was that since some folks had blue pools and blue lakes, which new members, you won't know what I'm talking about. Sounds like something crazy. There were no monthly fees associated with those. Well, everything in Black and Genesis does have a monthly fee. So I didn't think it was appropriate to migrate people and then suddenly say, oh, and by the way, now you have to pay for something that you hadn't paid for before. So we gave everyone a 1 month grace period. So the intent was that when people withdrew, they'd be able to use their profits to pay the fees that are now new to them, right? I'm a nice person. Well, because we're now going to stop when people are late, because we're going to stop their accounts from accruing until they get current, I didn't want it to count for this upcoming cycle because we are a little bit delayed in paying people out. And so it will not count for this upcoming cycle since the withdrawals were just made on the 5th, right? So this next time, if you're late, you're fine. But as of December, no more grace period. Pay your bills.
Yeah, you can. I see some people asking, can you pay them in advance? Yes, you can always pay your accounts in advance. Pools are a little different because obviously it's based on the growing balance, so you kind of have to wait for that to begin, or sorry, you have to wait to the end of that XETA cycle for it to update and then pay. But with accounts, you could pay them in advance. CMO, is there a limit to how much people can pay in advance that I'm not maybe privy to?
They can pay to the end of the account period, the 12 months. 365 days.
Okay, so you could technically go a year in advance if you wanted. That may or may not be necessary, but there you go. And primary is because, in Blue, this actually was CMO because he's a really nice guy. He looks like Darth Vader, but he doesn't act like Darth Vader. He's a really nice guy and said, hey, we should be able to give people some sort of grace period if they accidentally forget to pay, and what does it look like? And so, with zones and tokens, and we were buying those back. That was an expensive venture, but we wanted to give people a grace period, given the fact that pools in Genesis and accounts in Genesis all require stablecoin, and just like any other membership that I'm aware of, if I am delinquent in paying, I typically get hit with some sort of late fee. It's pretty common in the space, and I just think as we're maturing and growing and evolving, that it's time that we kind of become a little bit more mature in that regard. So that's the main primary reason behind it. So there you go. Looking for more questions. I'm on the search for questions. This is an interesting one. This is something that has definitely been discussed. I'll probably take maybe one more after this, just so you guys know. Then we'll wrap up. Didn't go quite 30 minutes, but there you go. Do the best I can. Is there a plan? This is very nice. Is there a plan to come up with a feature of adding external capital to your current Genesis pool instead of liquidating it in order to achieve a higher tier? It has been discussed, but also, so somebody would look at this and say, well, this is a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you do that, right? Well, there's actually reasons behind the scenes as to why you might or might not do it. We have to discuss all of the scenarios, and all the scenarios include, okay, it's easier for the user to simply add more stablecoin and up their tier, right? But then what's taking place when that doesn't happen? Or excuse me, what's not taking place when that does happen, I should say. Well, if you're doing that, what's not happening is you're not withdrawing, so you're not paying a 2.5% withdrawal fee. And then you're not allowing that to be traded while you are basically waiting for that to hit your wallet to then come back in to pay the 2.5% creation fee, right? So we actually end up losing out on a lot of fees when that happens. So every time there's a decision either for the benefit of the user, typically what you'll find is we have to kind of shortcut things on our side to make that possible. So it's not an easy answer, very nice, but it's definitely something that has been discussed. But no for sure on that at this stage. Guild Party of 7. This is a great question. This is a really good question. With all the changes and whatnot, where's the best place to get informed if we've been out of touch for a while? Find all of our assets.
Amazing that we do all the time.
Actually, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you Gavin's phone number. There you go. He's gonna update you on everything that's been going on.
You might not like what you get back. Right at the dark place.
Careful what you ask for. No, it actually is a really good question.
Discord. Yeah, Discord is the best place to stay informed, and that's why getting removed from it is such a big deal. You'll notice all the people calling us scammers are people that made a lot of money here. Nobody's lost money. They're just mad that they were punished because some of them don't have dads and they've never been held accountable for anything in their lives. So don't get kicked out of Discord. It is the best place to get information and stay up to date on what's going on.
Yeah, there's something called
sucks to suck. A wise man once told me that.
Well, there is something called being respectful. And by the way, there's no rule that says any business, any crypto project, any company has to have a Discord, by the way, that I'm aware of. And I've searched the laws on this. I haven't found a law yet that says you must have a Discord and you must allow people to publicly question your integrity in a Discord. I haven't found that yet. But guess what? It doesn't exist. And we get to make our own rules in the Discord. And those rules involve you being respectful and you being a reasonable human being. If you can't do that, you're not going to be in here. And what that means is if you're not in here, you're not going to find out a lot of things. And if you can't find out a lot of things, then you have to find out when you find out, which is going to be typically Twitter, which is delayed from when people in the Discord find out. So there is a benefit to being in here and being respectful. Also, you're going to see, as I said, YouTube is going to be more populated moving forward. You would also want to check out our Medium. If you haven't checked out our Medium, you'll find this under the official links in the Discord. Once again, if you're missing it, let someone know and we'll help you locate that. But the Medium is populated. JT does a wonderful job. Shout out to JT. Shout out to all our amazing moderators. We love you guys and you do an amazing job. Could not do what I do without you.
Amazing humans. Amazing.
In addition to that, you also have a knowledge base, which you cannot really find a whole lot on right now because I'm in the process of rebuilding it, and I apologize. We actually created a little internal knowledge base on the Discord that has to be updated to reflect Genesis at the moment, and that's a little out of date, but I'll get that updated this week as well. But nonetheless, those are the best places. You're going to see our social media filling out a little bit more as we move forward. We're working on some marketing efforts and things that I don't want to talk about just yet, but that's really the best way. But really, I'll be honest, if you were in Blue, for example, and I saw people, I didn't know things were being migrated. I mean, it was being discussed for at least 5 or 6 weeks, I'd say at least. It was posted all over Twitter, it was all over Discord, it was all over Medium, it was all over our blog on our website. There's no reason not to know what's going on. You have to check in with things like this. If I was ever involved in any kind of crypto project, I had to stay up to date frequently. And quite frankly, if I'm putting my hard-earned money into something, I better stay up to date on it, right? I mean, especially, some folks who, hopefully not, but some folks who might be a little overextended. Why would you not stay up to date on it, right? So anyway, that's the main thing, and that's what I would answer you. Stay in Discord. And make sure you don't get kicked out. And hopefully you're in Prime. I don't think you are Guild Party of 7, but some of you are in Prime, and you don't want to be removed from Prime because you'll probably never be re-added again. I think that's going to sum it up unless we have anything urgent. Jay Good AZ's got his hand up. I definitely want to talk to you.
Isn't he on vacation?
Yeah.
You should be relaxing, young man.
Jay Good, how are you, man?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yep, yep.
Hey, so question on the black holes. I've only been in it a couple months, but when I notice it pops up the fees due, so when would the reward stop on a black hole fee? Do you have a couple days or is it that day?
24 hours. You'll get a past due notice and just pay it in that window. You'll be good.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You had a good time meeting one of our mods, I understand, yeah? Is he behaving well?
I don't know. South of Destin, it was a good time.
Good. Hey.
Need to do a Zeta meetup somewhere.
Oh, never mind. Gotta watch it. Yeah, there might be one.
That might be a sore subject.
In a location that we own in the financial capital of the world. More details to follow.
Careful. You're gonna get him to slow. Well, I'll tell you this, Jay Good. I elect you to be the bouncer whenever we do. I'm gonna give you a pair of brass knuckles and one of them fedoras, and you're gonna be good to go.
This is
I'm
that
a
short
gentle
guy,
giant, but I can't be mean.
No, I was never like people who, oh, you should do boxing. I said, I can't hit somebody unless I have to. I understand.
Yeah, it's not the hitting people that sucks; it's the getting hit. It hurts. It hurted.
Definitely. All is well, Jay Good? Anything else?
All good. I'll get out of here.
Appreciate you, man.
Take care, man.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Ooh, more questions. ATOG 2074. Do we want to hear from this guy?
Come on
Look
down. Come on up on stage. If I invite you on stage, you get a little invite. You should see at the top of your screen. You have to accept that, and then you will be able to come on stage. Hey, ATOG, how are you?
Hey, good day. I had a question in the AMA because we're now on-ramping a lot of money, 5.3 million for the withdrawals. And how much of that money do you think will be reinvested, so is going off-chain? Is there anything you're thinking about just keeping it off-chain?
Well, the answer is who knows. Inshallah, as much as can be. I will say that we discussed this. So for the accounts, you're right, 5.3 million. I think it's 3.6 million for pools, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all in, we're calling it like 9.3. Somewhere between 9.3 and 9. I typically just say 10 million. You know, you overestimate. God, I can't say too much about the IPO, but soon we should have an announcement coming out where folks, well, what can I say? There will be places to spend your money with XETA, right? So one, it's a matter of how much money do people want? So you can use those withdrawal monies to pay your fees. Obviously, why wouldn't you use house money to pay your fees? Two, increase your position, right? Because you can't have enough of a good thing except for chocolate, so you get diabetes. And then also, we have some more products. Like I said, we don't want to change things on folks, but we do want to increase feature sets. So there will be other places for people to put their money. And for those of you who are tired of just having a membership and you want to be investors, well, there'll be a little button where you can KYC and put some money in and you can buy into the company.
Because personally, I'm thinking of, let's say, 50-50, like 50% I want to withdraw and 50% I want to reinvest. So that money never needs to be back on chain. It can be still in the investment pool. That's what I was thinking about.
Because we airdrop money to people's wallets. So when the coin hits your wallet, what you do with that has nothing to do with us. So it has to leave the investment pool because we have to draw down those positions and then send it to people. So if you're talking about people reloading the money, you know, I'd love for them to do that. That's their prerogative. I've always said I like it when people put money in their pockets because,
of course,
you know, if it ain't real, then it ain't real.
That's
not even
true.
just the ROI. It's just, you know, when you feel it, it feels better. The people that I find are the most high strung, the most anxious. I'm not going to call anyone out, cowboy, but you know, it's people that don't touch it, people that don't feel it. You know, you be a little more like Jay Good. Go take some Zetacations. It'll help you out. Make it real. Put it in your pocket. Buy yourself something nice.
But ATOG, to your question, right? You can, just what Gavin said, hits your wallet. It doesn't have to go into your account or anything else. You just drop it right back into another account or pool.
No, I'm just looking for making it easy to just reinvest it. So let's say click a button, a new 1,000 account will be created. It never has to go on chain.
To answer the first part of the question, that's how it is right now. So it goes into your wallet. The USDC goes to your wallet. You go into the D app and you click create new account, select 1,000, boom, done. So that already exists. I think what you're asking is there a way?
Keep it off the blockchain,
What I think he's asking is instead of doing a withdrawal to your account, are you asking is there a way to just create another account from your earnings?
Make an account. Don't wait the 28 days to just have it off chain and put it back have it on chain and put it back off chain again. Then
we
you
haven't
don't
really
need to wait
discussed it.
28 days.
Showtime sort of described it beforehand. The 28-day waiting period is good from a business point of view.
Yeah, I get that now.
So there would be an opportunity cost, but we can discuss it if there's a value in it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Good question.
Sorry,
Thank
I'm
you.
burping a baby right now.
No
You're
problem.
excused. Anything else, Atog?
No, thanks for your time.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks so much. Great question. Actually,
Bye-bye.
you know, these are feature sets like Gavin had mentioned that you know, we can always discuss these type of things, but you know, from the members' point of view, your guys' point of view, and this is not a condescending statement, but there may be some implementations that say, well, that's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you do that? There's always reasons why you should or should not do something. You just have to ask yourself, you know, is the trade-off something that you want to do, and is that long-term good for the business, right? So anyway, lots of things to consider, but that's definitely something that has come up in the Zeta Black channel, the Zeta Black Prime channel for sure. It's a great one. I'm gonna take one more live question. Then I gotta go. I've got family waiting on me. Chili 4625, come on up.
I feel bad if we don't invite Chappie up here. He's been waiting, and I love Iron Eagle. 1, 2, not 3 so much.
No worries. If we can, we'll do our best.
Chappie!
You have to accept the invite to come up and speak, by the way. Oh, okay, he's gone. So we'll go and invite Chappie up. Chappie, you might be our last person then. How are you? Can't really hear you, Chappie. Sounds like we're just hearing wind. Want to try again?
Say again.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Chappie, you're live.
Going, gone. Sorry. Come up. You got to be ready to talk, guys. Okay, we'll take one more then. We'll take one more from the AMA question channel. Let's see. How about this? This has been discussed. Can we have an auto payment system for our fees, please? No, sorry. I'm kidding.
Well, here's the problem. Because the fees...
I'm not kidding. Go ahead. Go again.
You can take it if you want, but I mean, honestly, guys, we can't do an automated pay function because the money comes out of your wallet. You don't want us to execute a function that takes money out of your wallet. First of all, people are dishonest, so I'm just going to be candid. I'm not thinking about us. I'm thinking about all the tickets I'm going to have to answer for people that click the auto system and they say, oh, I didn't know it was going to come out. I got to deal with it all the time in real life, people not knowing when their auto payments come out. So, no, we don't plan on doing that. It's a functionality that will just open a can of worms that I don't want to have to deal with people clicking the button and saying, oh, I didn't know I clicked this button.
Correct.
I mean, I'm sorry, but the amount of people who are willing to, like, one, just lie or make themselves look like an idiot so they can try to get something for free blows my mind. This is crypto. This is digital assets. This is the future. This is an opportunity that nobody else has ever had before we existed. So maybe just use a little bit of cognitive dissonance. We'll meet you halfway, but you got to try it.
Yeah. So I mean, essentially, what would be how that would work? Just so you know, Dark Lord, is you would have to deposit your stablecoin to some smart contract that executes it for you. I just see that as a risk. That, in my opinion, is not really worth the risk. There's some risks that are worth it, in my opinion. Business mentor once told me, he said, there's changes in business that scream and changes that whisper. Right? In my opinion, this would be a change that whispers. Doesn't mean it's not a viable suggestion. It just means that, to me, it just creates too much risk. And I just don't think it's worth the risk. And it's better for the end user. I mean, sorry, guys, you're going to have to come in once a month and just click a few buttons. I don't know what to tell you. Hopefully you'll make it.
Well, in addition to these valid reasons, we're not going to make a transaction, that's not recorded blockchain right? That you have to approve as a user. That would just be, you know, a security hole that we don't want to play in. So just on top of those other reasons, yes.
Correct.
You definitely want to have a blockchain record transaction, what you did, how it went, this kind of thing. So you don't want to rely on one system to just track your assets for you. So
Correct.
it's not it's a convenience, but it's not an intelligent move.
You know, a big part of this space is the security, right? And the amount of people that end up getting their wallets hacked. It's you know, a lot of people come in and, you know, they do the calculations and they move a stablecoin across, and there's all sorts of things, but a lot of people do lack their security, or they just don't pay attention to it. That's a big part of this, and it's got to be on the top of your list of planning in this space. Not just which projects you're going to go into, which ones you're going to research, which ones are you going to participate in certain levels, but how are you going to protect what you put in, right? So obviously on our end, we have a certain responsibility, but on the user's end, they also have a certain responsibility. So you don't want to neglect that, because I see that as being a big weakness for a lot of people, just in crypto in general. There was a big project this week that got hacked, but if you take it from the end user side, you know, there's no project that I've run across that would ever migrate wallets for users that have been hacked, ever. So, you know, that's one of those things, again, when we were being really nice, and for a good reason. I understand the space, it's difficult. So, you know, people get hacked and you know, they lost what they just put in. So, but there's a point where we had to kind of draw the line there and say, hey, look, yes, we've been nice up to this point, but this is, I don't want to say drain on our resources, but it is a drain on our resources, quite frankly. So anyway, that's just a really big point. And I don't want to create or have the team go and build something that's going to put your security at risk, is kind of to drive that back home.
Ryan, just add a little color commentary onto that. You know, we had people that had wallets that were allegedly hacked or stolen or whatever else they want to say. And so we went ahead and just let them create new wallets, and then we migrated their funds. And then suddenly it's all over the Twitter sphere that, oh, we're just giving money to people and there's brand new wallets that all of a sudden have a bunch of zones and accounts and airdrops. And then everybody wants answers. Well, who are these people? Like, okay, well, members don't want us doxing them and whatnot. So, hey, I guess what? We can't have nice things. So congratulations. Y'all ruined it again.
That was colorful. I will admit, that was very colorful.
You can't do anything nice for anybody in this space, or else you're the bad guy. And of course, the person that does it will never come out and be like, oh, these guys are amazing. Yeah, they saved all my money. No, they sit there and let people shit on us. Well, fine. Welcome to Web3. If you mess up, it's your fault.
So in other words, what you're saying, Gavin, is no more Mr. Nice Guy. Yeah? Am I being the UN interpreter accurately?
Yeah, wherever he went. What? I'm a nice person. Just, you know, at a certain point, you get tired of doing things for people, and yeah. So there you go. It says in a, like I said before, we're not politicians, and the reason why we speak differently than other projects is because they're all a bunch of grifters that just need money from you. They have nothing of value that they protect, and they have no intention of delivering on what they say. We have always done what we've said. We've over-delivered and under-promised. And so, meet us halfway. Thanks.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Gavin's bicentennial moment, I believe. I think we just witnessed that. Okay. We're an hour in, so there you go with the half hour we were supposed to go. Hap.
I've got Oompa Loompas with cornrows calling me a scammer who can't even spell zone. It's a 3-letter word.
It's got cornrows. I was dying.
Couldn't believe it.
Fucker, seriously.
Gavin, I can't find you on Google. Who are you? Are you real?
I'm a meat popsicle. I don't exist. I just have a huge digital footprint.
I would make a farting noise, but for the risk of looking like a clown, I won't do so.
Seems to be the thing to do.
Hap, I do see your question, AMA questions. There's going to be another recording specifically for the IPO. I chatted with Mark Johnson this morning. It just can't align our schedules because of his meetings and whatnot. So we're going to do something probably pre-recorded for that. details on that, and then you'll be able to ask certain questions. And just understand with the IPO, there's a lot of questions that may or may not be able to be answered. You got to make sure you're not breaking any laws. So in that regard, that'll be announced. And again, expect a little bit more of AMAs. We've got a number of announcements that I want to make on here, and I know what Gavin really wants to make on here, but want to get some things buttoned down and dialed in before doing so. So expect those in the coming weeks as well. Is there anything that anybody wants to sign off with?
We have done everything behind the scenes that every crypto project ever said they wanted to do. And I can't wait to announce it. We've actually done it, and we've done it better. FAX.
Yep.
Correct. Hey, Johnny, thanks for coming up on stage with us. I know you didn't talk much since the beginning, but we should probably have you on a little bit more and just let people know over here who you are. Probably most people here know who you are, but it's just good to hear your voice and see your avatar.
What about Netflix, Johnny? Never mind.
I appreciate it. It's been a fascinating listen for me too. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks, buddy. Well,
real quick before we leave, I just want to give a shout out. Sometimes we have members of note. I want to say congratulations.
You broke up, Gavin. We lost you.
Wanted to say congratulate, and it's gone.
I know he's going to say congratulations to somebody.
Well, yeah, some jerk off shared my number online, so I get a bunch of prank calls. I got to get a new one, but I was waiting for the 15 to come out. I just want to say congratulations to my boy Val. He's done some amazing things. He's got the most successful dessert company on TikTok. So, good job, man.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was very impressive. Very impressive. And I can tell you from an e-commerce standpoint, there's no easy feat, especially with one single social channel like that. That's you want to talk about 80-20, that's 80-20 on steroids. Nobody knows probably what we're talking about, but some might. So there you go.
Can you post a link on that, somebody in chat?
We don't do unpaid advertisements, CMO. Come on now. He got a shout out. He got a shout out from the man. What else does he want?
Big old billboard.
DM me, bro. I need some dessert in my life.
Teasing. But see, I'm a nice person.
All right, guys.
But if you want links, you got to pay.
Pay for the links. Okay, well, look, if there's nothing else, we are going to end there. Again, look forward to more content coming soon with our YouTube. We're going to see our social media channels kind of expanding a bit. You're going to see, moving forward, more AMAs like this, pre-recorded. I already have a plan for several of them moving forward. And more of these live ones. And we'll start bringing some people up on stage. Just come prepared with your questions. We'd love to interact with you, especially some of our members who've been here a long time. I don't know if I've heard almost any of you. I think I've spoken to some of you on some occasions, but it'd be great to interact with you guys on more of a wider scale. And maybe we'll even do some private ones for our Prime groups. And I think that would be exciting just to kind of interact with you guys. And we have a lot of exciting things moving forward. Look forward to some coming AMAs probably before the end of this month on some new announcements. And it's going to be very exciting. Thank you again, guys, for the happy birthday wishes. Much love to you, and I appreciate each one of you. Until next time, God bless, guys. Take care. Thanks a lot.